And hey, Alice.
Unmute. Alice, you are muted.
She might need to be. She all right.
Yes. Shan,
Hey.
good, good. Sorry, let me fix my computer.
We talk to the signal. Try salute you. The signal.
Questions, and I'm giving him some advice about just how we're needing to think around answering these questions. You want to think about it from the standpoint of leading them to where you want them to go. So we already have 3 powerful questions with all the answers, conversational answers to those questions, right? And so the first question on here, what are some common mistakes that people are making in their personal finances? If you go to the not saving for emergency fund, not having money in case of medical expense, we already have that answer. So we need another answer for this question. So if someone were to, Alice, if someone were to ask you outside of medical expenses, saving
emergency,
for a rainy day, what are some common mistakes that you see people making in their personal finances? Think about, and I want him to think about it from a standpoint of, if all of us are over 40, what are 40 plus people, the mistakes made? You know what I'm saying? What had they done wrong? What if they had, I don't want to
putting the money in the wrong vehicles.
Give me another answer. Don't think about your product. Think about the problems that people can say, dang, I wish I had have known something different. I wish I had have done something different. Because wrong vehicles, now the next question is going to be, what's a vehicle? What kind of vehicle? Now, then
not opening a tax-free account, not putting the money in a tax-free account, no?
I already got that answer in another question. So you going real deep. Alice, what would be your answer?
Can you repeat the question?
The question is,
I sort of joined midway, so.
Number 1, what are some common mistakes that you see regular people making in their personal finances?
I would say people go with the flow. They don't really they don't plan, right? They don't plan. They just kind of like take it that if I have a salary and a 401k, I'm good to go, and a bank account, I'm good to go.
And so what happens because they don't plan?
And so they end up without any help on a rainy day. When the rainy day shows up, they have nothing. They have no, I mean, there's no help in place. There's nothing in place. So then they realize, then they find out that they actually had not planned for that rainy day.
True. So that's perfect. And this is what I'm gonna give it to you. So this would then lead me to say the real issue is that people don't start early enough to plan for their financials, right? It's really kind of late when you're trying to start in your 40s and 50s. Now you're thinking about growing older, but you can talk about the lifespan. The lifespan is to live till you're 70. The Walmart greeters are working to their 99 and dying at the Walmart door. Like, why do they do that? Because they haven't planned. So one of the common mistakes that people make in their personal finances is not think about it early enough.
Yeah.
You think about it, there's compound interest. If you think about it early enough, then $100 a month saved over the course of, you start saving $100 at 25, then you want, by the time you're 55, then you can put it in the right vehicles. Things will look very different for you. But most of the American people don't start thinking about they're growing older and having funds to make sure they can take care of themselves. See, I'm not mentioning the word retirement.
Wow.
People are not growing older and thinking about it until they're old.
There's a saying for it, if I may interrupt, which says, if you fail to plan, then you're planning to fail financially.
Exactly. And
Mm.
that is a real common mistake. This is where, Martin, you can go into the conversation around, think about it, right? I read in a document that our taxes are going up next year. 2025, taxes are going up. What does that mean for your finances today? If you think that gas and milk and cheese is high today, if taxes go up next year, your money's going to even be shorter. So this common mistake that people don't think about in personal finances is planning for the future earlier. You won't miss that $100 that you put aside if, as a 25-year-old starting your career, as much as you will miss those hundreds of thousands of dollars you missed out on because you're starting at 55, right? And when you're in your 20s, you can talk about, hey, I got a client that I consulted with. They're in their early 30s and they own $200,000 cars. They live in $1 million home. They have 2 six-figure jobs and nothing planned for a rainy day, nothing planned for when they're 55, because the lifestyle that they're living at 35 is so high that it's maxed out. But that money, that delayed gratification, could literally have made them retire by the time they're at 55, millionaires possibly. See, that's a real conversation that people gonna be like, I want to talk to him.
And Doc has a way of saying it, which is that even when they project that they will continue to have a high level of income throughout, they forget that as they grow older, things are going to start showing up.
Yeah.
Right? That they didn't have when they were 20, 23, 24, 25, 30. Things start showing up when and then all the money they thought they were saving, gets used up. Trying to take care of themselves makes no sense. And so by the time they're 60, everything is used up, because for women, menopause setting, and it was all the things that go with that. God forbid cancer still happen, right? So all the money they thought they would have, they end up either not being able to work anymore.
Okay.
Or they have a lot of expenses. So, poor planning and poor and late planning really is a big mistake, as you rightly said.
I think we've exhausted this answer. Since we have 10 of them, we can just, we may keep just talking and not be able to go through. I think I get the point for this.
Get my point. So I don't think that we don't need to go through all 10
of them. Yeah, this just to get the thrust, really.
Just to get your juices flowing in the right line, because you always go to the technical terminology when we really got to talk to the people so they can put themselves into your answer. If I can't put myself into your answer, then now my brain is going to shut off, because now I don't know what you're talking about and I don't want to feel like I'm dumb. So remember, the whole conversation around individuals want to make sure that they can follow the conversation. Financial literacy, and that I changed the word because, of course, financial literacy is going on out there. I think that your language of knowledge is super, super important, but people will shut down on you if your wording completely is removed from their.
Okay.
Right. So number 2, how can individuals improve their financial knowledge right now and make better money decisions?
Well, I talked about my scorecard, which
but there you go. You talking about you, right? What can you say before you say, by the way, I'm your answer? So you can't be the answer to all the questions.
Okay.
You got to ask them something and then say, what else can they do to improve their financial knowledge to make better money decisions? What else can they do before you offer them a free scorecard? What's a practical advice that has nothing to do with you? What did you do? How did you learn?
Well, you may Google, go on the internet, or what?
What's go find a great book that people can start with. Maybe it's Finances for Dummies. Maybe Smart Money. One of the best books I ever read was Smart Money Moves for Women. Right? I know people love to read Harry Potter and the latest what's the fame? I don't read that kind of stuff.
Yes, I understand. All those extraterrestrial stories and so on and so forth, scientific stories and things
Right.
that lead you nowhere.
Or
Yes.
scroll endlessly on social media.
Gossip and social media and
Just reading
influencer stories.
aimlessly, yeah. What is happening, gossips and so on.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
Go
what
on
people
So,
like to say.
this. I would say something online. Go on Amazon. Find the highest ranked money book or money books. Read the reviews. See what people are saying.
mhm,
Invest in increasing your financial knowledge.
right.
If you tell, that's practical, reasonable advice.
That's true.
It's disconnected for you. Then once you give them something that they can do right now to start making better financial decisions, then you can say, and I do have a resource. It's completely free.
Mhm.
All you have to do is go to my website. You can download a financial scorecard. It gives you a pulse on your financial knowledge right now and a way to and some things to increase. So see how you bring it in the
Yeah.
end,
Mhm.
but you give them something. If they don't go get your scorecard, you've already added value to their life.
Especially knowing that in reality, very few people read anything.
Very
They
few.
pick up a book and read it, even if you propose it to them. So I can kind of quickly transitioning at some point into by the way, while you do that, or I do also have this resource, which, puts it all together for you, and that will, a lot of people will want to see the scorecard first rather than read that 20, 30, 100-page book.
Right.
And you also have something like zero tax in retirement. Can we recommend that, the one that is given by WFG, or I should just make it a little bit generic as opposed to?
I think that should come in the actual meeting, because they're not going to understand what you're talking about. Zero tax.
Right. Right.
It's not something that anybody can comprehend right away.
It's not.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
people believe, right? You as
Yeah.
over here, you're conditioned to pay taxes. So it's not something that people will even believe.
They
Right.
won't believe it. Yeah. Oh, I mean, they don't know that some don't believe that you can escape taxes.
Right.
They think that they're trapped in this world, and Uncle Sam gets his way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, you have really sorted out the best questions, and they're not easy. Thank you.
Well, they
It's
try,
very good. No, I like it.
but they
So,
are easy. But I need you to think like you're talking to a group of fifth graders that haven't started their job yet. And you're giving them advice to not make the mistakes of their parents, to not make the mistakes of the adults in their life. If you consider yourself walking into a middle school classroom and you tell them, hey, I don't want you to make the same mistakes that most adults make today. Here are some practical things you can start thinking about, before you start getting your first job. Here's something. So think about it from the standpoint, if you're talking to teenagers or college students that haven't messed up yet. If you come at it from that standpoint, you're going to give them practical advice. You're not going to be talking about zero taxes. You're going to tell them some real strategies, how to fill out their W-2, how to contribute to, how to even find out what options are available for them. You're going to talk to them differently than you're going to talk to someone who's already matriculated through their career and done all this other things. You'll talk to them simply. You'll give them real. If you were talking to some high schoolers, you're going to tell them, hey, go read a couple books, right? Get started with a couple of books. They're used to reading. They're in school. Make it a habit. Books are for leaders. So those are the kinds of things. If you want to increase your knowledge on anything, you have to do some self-study. That's a practical thing you can say to people, right? And then what about debt? What would you tell the high schoolers going out into America about, what advice would you give them to not get into debt?
wow.
Like at the end of the day, most people live off credit.
Yeah.
So
Paycheck to paycheck. Yeah.
right, what advice would you have for those struggling with debt, especially with the rise of American credit card debt and really the advent of swiping a card versus having the money available? So what would be something simple you would say? If I'm struggling with debt right now, what definitely should I not be doing?
So I mean there are certain, what I put it, like low-lying fruit that you really have to avoid, such as buying things that you could live without.
Mhm.
Give an example. Some people buy Starbucks for $10 or $5. Take that, just assume that you work for 22 days a month, you multiply that. That is money that you can actually save. And if you take that over a year or a couple of years, that can actually be money. If you put it in an account that grows compound interest, you
No,
can.
we're talking about debt.
Okay.
They are struggling with debt. You was on a really great roll until you start talking about compound interest. This
Okay.
is about getting me. If my credit card is at 10, my max is $10,000 on my credit card, but I'm at 10,800 on my credit card. How can you help me make better money decisions to lower that debt? You started really great. Take
Okay.
that Starbucks money, stop buying the things, get off Amazon. You
Yeah,
don't need another candle from TJ Maxx.
exactly.
You don't need to 10 every day to stop in the routine of this $10 a day. Take that same 300, $400 a month. I help my clients find at least 500 extra dollars that they're spending every month, and we put that towards their first credit card. We get one credit. This is Dave Ramsey 101. You get one credit card,
Okay.
take that expendable income, lower your debt, take some stress off yourself.
Right.
And once you lower those credit card debts, now you are in the practice of saving that money. Then you take that money, put it into an account for a rainy day. Then you take that money, put it into another growth invested account, which we can talk about later. Right?
Okay.
That's real practical advice. You went really great, but don't start thinking about the sale. Think about the practical things you can do to help them a little bit of time, because now you become their expert. It's the reason I got you making these videos. Now you become the expert. You're the help. You're the knowledge. You keep talking about you need to increase your financial knowledge, close the wealth gap, increase your financial literacy. You're going to be that person that they trust, but you have to give them practical advice.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
These are even, they look like things that you can even make videos out of.
Completely.
Wow. Wow.
But the video need to be the same answer. The video needs to be the same answer. At the end of the day, if you had a lot of people, if you give me some really great advice on that I'm struggling with debt and how that walk through that process with me, and then at the end say, hey, if you would like me to I can send you a spreadsheet that I give to my private clients that helps them track this process, that helps them eliminate one piece of debt at a time, that stops the creditors from calling them because they actually have the finances to pay for their debt. If you would like that, then just drop me a line below and I'll send you over that spreadsheet. If you get 20 people that say they want that spreadsheet, we'll create it later. But now we know what people are interested in.
And there's also a form you can fill. They call that, you can get your financial score.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that can be done. It
That,
takes in everything about your things that you owe, how much you spend, and they can do the comparison. And out of that, we can take out the debt and we can help you how to address those debts just using what you're saying. So we can also I can also offer them to do a financial score just like your credit score.
yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
So that's it. And then number 4, so all of these questions are along the lines of really just trying to help the people.
Mhm.
But I think you see where I'm going. You see how I'm setting it up to
Yes.
make you expert. You have to be your own Doug in your industry. You have to be your own Doug in your community.
Yeah.
So you have to help the people in the language that they can understand.
Mhm.
Because we're not talking to the people with $500,000 yet, right? We
Right.
want to talk to the practical people that can say, okay, I need his help. I really need to talk to him. He knows everything. This is really good. This radio interview has helped me so far. It's just been amazing. I need to talk to him more. This is sales in and of itself, because the more you help other people get, Zig Ziglar, the more you help other people get what they want, you'll get everything that you want.
Mhm. And number 4, what are some of the practical strategies for saving money and building an emergency fund?
So that's the same question we have in the first 3. So I'm giving him different 10 questions is a lot. We'll give him 13, but in case he asks this one, versus the one of the other three, you have that answer. You already have that answer. Right? Remember we talked about, most people, they have necklaces and purses and watches.
Yeah, exactly. We talked about that. Some have jewelry,
You
in
drive,
excess of even hundreds of thousands of dollars,
yeah, you're driving an $800,000 car,
cars, and so on. And lots of things. Yeah, we talked about it, that you can go to somebody's home and prove to them that you can get quick cash just by looking at some of those redundant items that you don't really need, and you can turn them into some emergency fund, and that will come handy.
Exactly. That's practical. So you already got that answer, but in case he asks it a different way, so in case he might want to ask this question over the other question, you still got the answer for the emergency fund.
Okay.
Right? I just told you I have 5 MacBook desktops and 7 MacBook laptops. If I need some money, that's kept. But it's just around the house. You know. So we don't even think about. And then plus, I remember when I quit my job, sales, where I was trying to figure this entrepreneur thing out. I had 17 Coach purses because, of course, I'm an executive. I have to have a nice bag. So I had 17 Coach purses. I even had a really nice pink Coach blazer. Man, I paid my mortgage like 4 months selling some of that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, we got cash at home, but you shouldn't have to do that. If you gotta change your financial habits so that you think about the emergency fund, but before you're thinking about, these nice handbags and nice shoes and things that are not not serving us well. So there's that. So how important is it for individuals to have a budget, and how can they create one that works for them?
Well, the importance of a budget. It helps you to streamline your consumption and to see whether you can afford.
Or where your holes are. Like where's money leaking out your bucket?
I think it helps you to determine what your wants are and your needs.
Good.
We have many things that we want that we don't need. When you sit down to try to do a budget, of course, you have an income. You're looking at that income, and then you have so many things in your head. Some are really just wants that you don't need, and then you have the real needs. And so when you start thinking about a budget, that's the first thing that comes to mind. You will be able to discern really what are needs and what are wants, in your head, and that, I think that helps you streamline your expenses, really to focus on your needs and to not bother too much about your wants.
And refer back to your other answers, like I said before, that Starbucks habit.
Right.
That Starbucks habit starts to add up, continue. If you really do the math, if you're spending, even if it's as little as $200 a month, over a year, you spent $2,400. Over 10 years, you spent $24,000 on coffee.
On grains of coffee.
On grains, a few grains of coffee.
And water.
Warren Buffett. Even Warren Buffett wouldn't do that. And he's a billionaire.
Well, he's a billionaire. Yeah. His wife won't do that, Yeah.
So that's a whole nother thing. When we talked about what would be some practical steps, go study the people that have the money. They live differently. Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Warren Buffett.
They're very, very frugal.
Very
surprised. Somebody put it in a very, interesting way, which is, poor people are always doing things to impress people who don't care about them, right? You think those persons are impressing someone? You did quit that job, right? Despite all your fancies, but it didn't get you to where you wanted to go. You realize that, private enterprise was going to get you there because those persons didn't cut it, right? So I think it's especially in our community, and I'm a corporate, right? And at a certain point, I started to realize, okay, I don't need all these fancy things. I stopped buying them, but I do have a lot. I'm planning a yard sale. I don't know what to call it somehow. So I raise some money.
I know. And
Women and shoes. Women and shoes. I'm going to talk about it. Some women have shoes that
I just bought.
Hello.
I know, it's a problem. I just bought, Alice. I just bought some thigh-high red heels.
oh my God.
I'm gonna wear them too. You're working at
Oh
home
my
most
God.
of the
Red for
time.
that matter.
My daughter said, "Where you going in them?" I said, "I don't know."
Yeah, I just.
I don't know. They were pretty.
Oh my goodness! And you're probably working mostly at home, right?
Girl, yes. I don't even date right now. Where am I going? If they pretty, they under my bed.
Oh my God.
So that's kind, that's real. Like women in shoes, men in their watches or their cologne. I told Martin that I
Yeah.
know a man that has a $750,000 cologne collection, just his cologne.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Right.
Wonderful.
Right. Well, I mean, he makes a lot of money, but still, yo. So anyway,
Wow.
that's real. That's a good answer for budget.
Mm-hmm.
What role does investing play? I think that's if they want to you want to answer something like that. That's where you're talking about your safety and security. I put that in there because people are asking online about investing and what's a good choice. There's a lot of information out there about Bitcoin.
Right.
A lot of false information that's telling people that Bitcoin is a safe investment and that the world is moving to digital coins instead of paper money. So you can talk about it from that perspective of the safety and security of choosing where you put your money and not getting caught up in the schemes of
Yeah.
the
Bitcoin. They talk
making.
about mining Bitcoins and so on and so forth. And
Yeah,
people have lost a lot of money from that.
yeah, and all the things on that there's Super Bowl ads for FanDuel. There's articles that's talking about it's a real problem. The ease and access of young men to things like FanDuel is really bankrupting a whole generation of young men because
Mhm.
they're betting on these games and it's tied to their phone and it's a whole problem. So you can talk about it from that perspective, but in and of itself, that's where you go into the whole making sure that everything is secure and that it's risk adverse and that it's protected.
Exactly.
Right. So of course, I got the thing in here about what steps can people take to secure retirement. You can reference. I would reference back to if he asked you the question around preparing early, because the older you get, the less
Higher
amount,
the amount to invest to be
right,
able.
the less amount of time you have for your money to grow. And on top of that, one thing that you say all the time, market volatility and the tax. You just don't know, the reason why you tell people to start earlier, think about this earlier rather than later, is because you really don't know what the taxes are going to be in the future, how far your money is going to go. You don't know what the market's going to
No,
be
for
doing.
sure they're gonna go up. Taxes are going to go only up. They're
Every-
never going down, ever.
Right.
Hmm.
So your money is going to be worth less. So you want to make sure that you're thinking about retirement today versus 10 days from now, because even in that 10 days, you can make a little bit more traction, but it's always best to start thinking about it earlier than later. So I would say something along those lines to get people really thinking about, you really don't want to end up to be the Walmart greeter and work until you falling over at the Walmart. So
Right.
and that's just a plan. Or what's happening now is being a burden on your children and the family.
Mhm.
Caregiving is real, but planning is even realer, right? If you can plan for your own care, put yourself in a better position than having someone have to make the ultimate sacrifice and plan for you, which puts now they're in a burden. There's a question on here because I thought about your conversation with the young lady where you helped her with the 15-year-old. Scroll down. I wanted to talk about the plan for college.
Mm-hmm.
Um, where is it? Did I put on here? What's the cost of okay? With the cost of with the cost of education skyrocketing, what advice do you have for families planning for their children's college expenses? You can have that same conversation around this is really an important question. Let me tell you a story about a conversation that I just had with
Mhm.
one of my new clients, and talk about her concerns. And
Yes.
so this can be something. Oh, I really just love the way, you know, you get that you explain that about how you helped her plan for college for her 15-year-old that didn't include a traditional model. It included a model that guaranteed the success, but with less, you know, less risk and more in the end. So you can talk
Yes.
about it from that perspective and give that example of what you told her. Think about community college, you know,
Yes.
think about, you know, doing 2 years here and then you got 1 more year, especially if you go real talk. People tell you college takes 4 years. It doesn't. It takes 4 years if you take a summers off every year.
Exactly. Yep. Yep.
Right.
You can
So
do summer classes as well. And
mhm,
that's it. In fact, my son did the summer courses in a community college to do his math, and he did all the way to math 4. I scored an A because he was doing it in a community college and going to university, and that helped a lot.
and it helps a lot, and it really does
Also cut down the cost.
cut down.
Okay, because
So
some places community colleges are either free or it's very, very cheap. So go the community college route
yeah, that's the
and you become more pragmatic, more hands-on. And then when you go to university, you even perform better and you graduate with a better grade and you have opportunity to do get a better job because you have a
definitely
better GPA. Oh yeah,
perfect.
that's true. You picked up that one.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think that question. And the other 2 questions, the last one, are really just other renditions of the questions above, right?
Mhm.
How do they help it? Because I know they're not going to ask you 10 questions completely. Just
Okay.
giving them different ways to ask which questions, but your answers are still remaining in the same vein, right?
Fine.
Number
Fine.
The art of pivoting, right? You pivot to what you want to say in a clever way and keep it interesting.
yeah, keep it story based.
My day job is preparing talking points for senior officials. So sorry if I'm interjecting too much
No,
because
you're good.
I do this all the time, every day, right? I'm looking at what Secretary General has to say, or my immediate boss, or some other official, and
Right.
it's always there are questions for which we don't have answers, right? And sometimes we
So
get to be
let's
asked just
finish
because
this
we
one.
want to say what we want to say. The message will be the same, but the rendition will vary from one question to another. But
Definitely. And so, you know,
overall, exactly.
this is textbook 101 interview, right? Person asks you a question, you repeat a little bit of the question, you said, but look, this is what I really wanted to tell you. Know, you go back to your message.
Mhm.
It's just pivoted, but the 9 and 10 are just a different rendition of the questions we've already answered. 9 is another thing about having emergency fund, and 10 is another question around what can I do, which is what you're saying, go get some books, increase your financial knowledge. If you want to make sure that you understand where you are financially now, I do have a free tool, a free resource. So it's the same question, just said a different way, giving
Yeah.
them options on what to ask you. So whether they ask you either one of these 13 questions, your answers should be conducive to lead them to you're the expert. You're
Okay.
you're closing the knowledge gap. They need to follow you, and they need to really take heed to the advice that you're giving them. But you want to give them thoughts that will make them stay up at night thinking about what you said. But if you're talking too technical and
Oh
people
yeah, it just flies over their head.
yeah, tune out.
That's beautiful.
Okay.
That's beautiful. I love it. Any comments, Alice? Don't you think it's great?
It's great. No comment.
Perfect.
That's okay.
You read my mind more than I know, but thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. We talk so much. I get you. You know what I'm saying? I get what we're doing. I get where we're trying. I really did. Mom, Alice, did you have a chance to look at the last presentation that we did?
Not yet.
Not
Okay.
yet. Oh yeah, she's been so full of
Yeah.
her job takes her. She'll be working out till 1 a.m. I'm telling you every day. At times, I always see her on the screen just like you. That's
I'm actually thinking because I'm really dying inside for not having the time to do the business, to be honest with you. Today I was thinking I need a different kind of business card, not the regular one. which because I see a lot of people to whom I can just say, hey, can I share something with you? And I can give them a card which says free Zoom, blah blah blah, maybe 3 key things, and with the telephone number or whatever, an email address on it.
So you want cards for you?
Yes, I'll kind of create something which you can look at, not Martin's business cards, because I can't give his business card. You can't be giving somebody else's business card to somebody, right? Even if I have to explain that he's my husband and it doesn't make sense, I'd rather have something with my name, maybe not my name, because that's going to be a conflict with my requirements
really?
work. But I don't need something which I can give people and they can call. They can use it to call.
But what would be the
Because the business card is somebody else's business card. It doesn't make sense for me to kind of be giving it out to people without having to explain who this person is. I mean, I can pretty much say, okay, this is my husband, but I'm looking for a simpler way of doing it. Something I can have in my pocket all the time and just hand to people until such a time where I can do the business kind of full time.
Could it be something that you send people to watch one of his videos about?
Yeah, maybe, yeah, or something that has the
closing the financial gap where they can watch the video and get connected to have a conversation.
Right.
Okay.
I need something like that
for you.
Yeah.
Is it for the same community? Do you want it to be?
I would give it to anybody with whom I strike a conversation, to be honest. I would like, by the way, can I share something with you?
Okay.
If it's I'm talking to somebody in the store or at work or on the bus or wherever.
Okay.
Because when you get into conversations all the time with people and it's an opportunity to tell them something, but I would like to say, oh, by the way, if you don't mind, I'd like to share this with you. And they look at it and some will call, most will just throw it away. That's fine. But I think I see a lot of people every day, and I feel like I need to give them something. I don't want to start explaining to them.
Okay.
Give them something which will lead them to see maybe the website or the Facebook.
I think that it's better to lead to a presentation, like a short video. But what would because the presentation we just did about closing the knowledge gap and the impact on our community would be phenomenal.
Right.
Through that,
we can also put a barcode on it and they can just scan it and it takes them
barcode. I'm already seeing it. It's something generic, but I just need to know
a QR code, rather a QR code.
I know what you mean.
Exactly. If they're sitting on the bus, I can if you scan this, or just hand it to them and they can take a look and just to see what happens, if we will get some response from that.
I like it. I'll create you something that you take a look at it. Something almost I believe in. I give out thousands of business cards a year because it's the cheapest point of marketing.
Right.
Use it the same way. It's not my phone number and stuff. It's a message, right?
Right.
You want to grow your small business.
Right.
That's it. That's all. Right. So I'll create you something like that and send it over to you.
That would be great.
Awesome. What did you think what you think about the speaker sheet?
Have I seen it? No.
The what?
This your speaker sheet.
Oh, you mean the one you did with my photo on it?
Yeah,
it's beautiful. I don't know, Alice, you haven't seen it?
No.
He hasn't had time to read it.
The bio?
It's beautiful.
No, the speaker sheet, like it's hiring him to come and speak for churches and colleges.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, she hasn't seen it. I mean, you are talking about the presentation, right?
No, the speaker sheet. I sent it to you in WhatsApp. But we got it. So as soon as we get, as he's being asked to speak, right? That's what we send over. You send it over to the people as a PDF. Send us, hey, here's the topics we speak on. Here's his bio. Here's all the information. It's just being ready. Because I can see now that we're really going to be going after organizations, and we just need to be able to have his kit ready. Have his kit, the logo, his picture, his bio ready, so that when people are inquiring, just like when you ask me for mine, I have my bio, I have my pictures already set. It's just ready to go.
Okay.
Talking of which, I I think we have a great opportunity with this event in this online event organized by this group in Minnesota, I believe. Because I looked up the lady who will be moderating the meeting, and I have no doubt that she will have no clue on finance. So we're gonna have to really find a way to steal the show.
Okay.
A presentation that will like get everyone Googling and wanting to know, because the rest of them are going to be saying the traditional things about discrimination and
Wait till you see what we got. It's amazing.
yeah, I haven't exactly. Yeah,
it's beautiful. It's
I think
beautiful.
we can steal the show. And of course, Martin told you we were trying to get you to moderate, but then they found this, and I think they're going to regret it one day, because I looked up. It's a Nigerian woman who is an elementary school principal, who was actually a little bit controversial because she was, but I think it's just a part of the racism thing. She suffered some incident at one school and was asked to leave, and now she's taking a new appointment in another school. So so I don't expect them to go like into really substantive discussion around the question of race, because the moderator plays a key role in how because we could pretty much just turn this into a discussion about finance.
And the fact of the matter that what people don't understand is that the entrenched racism in this country is actually built on wealth disparity.
Absolutely.
People don't know that. We can sing around, talk, you don't hate this person, you don't do it, but it's
all
all rooted
slavery,
on wealth.
All of slavery enables the
Yes.
gap to be
So finance, the gap
and
is so big.
There are things that have been, widening the gap, over the centuries,
So we have to, when we are doing a presentation, I would like to bring out that information. So no matter what we say is peripheral, the key thing is wealth, because that's what they went to other parts of the world to steal people and do all sorts of things to have what they have today. And now they barricaded themselves.
They shared it. I listened to a video by someone who was actually describing how much an amount of money stays in the communities here. How much, for instance,
I already know. It touches our hand once and leaves. And it
exactly. For us, it is like 6 hours. That's the maximum amount of time $1,000 stays in the African American community. 6 hours and it's gone, either to the Latino community or to the whites, because of all the reasons that we know. We don't own anything. We're gonna, the next thing, that purse which you bought, right?
That information is very, yes.
How many African Americans have a share in Coach? So
we are conditioned, but it's so much conditioning, right? It's a status thing, and that comes from not having so long. But at the end of the day, we sit up here and literally give money to people who literally tell us, like Timberland Boots said, we don't want Black people wearing our stuff, but if we weren't buying their stuff, they would not be
millionaires. Have no business. They
would have no business. No, they came out and actually said, we don't want Black people in our stuff. The company that my daughter works with, they're in Atlanta. It's a white company. They're in Atlanta. Of course, you got to have Black people working in the Atlanta store, but there are no Black models on their site. They continuously tell my daughter, we don't want any urban people wearing our wares. What's that mean? That means you don't want Black people in your stuff.
Really?
It's cold. Wow. And I told her, I said, you got to get out of there. Stop telling me these stories, because we don't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? But it's not even hidden. It's right there. They tell you.
Yeah. All the policies were meant to take money from the Black people and give it to somebody else.
Yeah. And even the laws that are right now, what I'm reading.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Laws that are written. Tony Robbins said this the other day, and we can put this in the presentation, just little quick snips about how you're set up.
Yes, exactly.
Tony Robbins said the other day, he wrote a book about money. Again, his third book about money. And his books be this big. Like, his book's so big. And I'm going to tell you now, I have bought the books and I don't understand anything in them. But that's by design, right? So he said that the rule is right now that if you want to invest, if you want to make private equity investment in companies, you have to be your net worth, cash liquid, has to be $1 million. You can't invest $5,000 into a private equity business unless you have $1 million cash. That eliminates 98% of the African American.
True.
Obama changed the rule, right? But we don't even know.
What?
We don't even know. Obama changed the rule and pulled it down to where as long as you can invest at least $5,000, you can now have access to this nice investment. Tony Robbins said that he one of his billionaire friends literally invested $500,000 into a private equity, and they held it for 10 years. In 10 years, it was worth $3 billion.
Okay.
But you have to be worth $1 million liquid to even be open.
Be able to do that, right? Mm-hmm.
That is a lock out of the wealth system. But
Wow.
Obama did change it. Look that law up. Obama changed this to where you can invest $5,000, but we don't even know where, how, what, when. We don't
exactly.
know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I mean, we look at this discussion we had with a group of student engineers, right? Shan, they know nothing about money.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't, they never.
And they were doing finance. Not only that, they were doing
right?
finance.
But they were very honest. And I love that they were very honest. You could see the bewilderment on their faces, right? But they kept saying, we don't know anything about it. We don't know anything about it. You know, probate, they've never heard about it. And
they're in their senior year.
Yeah, they're seniors. They're going to get into the workforce
in 2 months.
Understanding on how money works. In a couple of months, they are going into the labor force.
How can they plan for the future?
How can that's a class. I mean, we got to do that presentation. I really want you to get into the colleges because really that's key.
Mm-hmm.
If money is one of those things that has to be taught at home, and that's a part of the presentation, right? But if it's taught at home, it needs to be a part of your own personal journey so that you can make sure you understand and protect yourself. So we should do a presentation for the college student, pending American worker, right?
Yes.
As you leave college, these are the considerations that you need to.
Absolutely. That's our next project. Yeah, we have to streamline it just for the college students. And then we can start seeing how we can go into colleges. I hope I should have the occasion to talk to Black students or Black colleges, not white colleges.
Yeah,
no, we're staying with the Black community. I don't think we need to.
We don't even understand how scholarships work. No. We don't even understand how any of it works.
You know that if you're a foster child, you can't have a scholarship in this country, or you cannot have take a school loan, or what you told me, right? Yeah. Shan, did you know that, Alice? If you're a foster child.
That a foster child cannot.
Because no.
I wasn't a foster kid, but my mom was strung out, so I didn't know where she was. But the real thing is, even if you do know where she is, my mama never had a job. So if she never worked, she still wouldn't qualify because you have to co-sign for the So because I didn't have a co-signer for the loan, I couldn't get in college. It took 3 white women paying my first semester of school for me to go to college. Because I couldn't get in without a co-signer.
Without a co-signer, true.
Yeah. True. And Black kids
you can stop the video now at the recording.
Oh. I know it's gonna be so long. But so we definitely have